Hello everybody and welcome to Tuesday Sewing, and I'm excited I am. Got a new pick jar project starting today, and for those of you that are new, the pick jar, I think this pick jar's been with me from the very beginning and we I've done various projects with the pick jar, but basically people have sent suggestions in for surprise pieces and elements to be added to various projects, sewing projects, and it's been really good fun because, you know, I've got an idea what we're sewing, and then we introduce a surprise element from the pick jar from just things written on paper. And I did something similar for my 12 Days of Kitmas, my December project, design team project for Tracy Fox. So I thought, what can I come up with that's a little bit different? And the pick jar's turned into a button jar. Oh my goodness, it's saying pick jar, sorry, rattling buttons, has turned into a vintage button jar. So I've put a selection of different size, let me take the lid off, that'd be easier, wouldn't it? Different vintage buttons from my stash are all here, all various sizes. Neutral tones, because we want it to be able to go with anything. And every week we're going to play a game. We're going to roll this dice. You don't know the trouble I've had getting a dice. I thought we've still got some bits and bobs of the kids in the loft, their boxes. Well, I thought there'd be one and there isn't. So I ended up going to town all over. Can you? Because like, unless you're buying a really expensive board game, get a dice. Anyway, good old Waterstones came up trumps, and I've had to buy this drinking game. Some little drinking game for £5 just to get a dice. And I opened it up, and the first two dices inside have got words on. I thought, crikey, I've gone all over the place to get a dice with numbers on for this game, and the only thing I could get, but anyway, when I delved further in, we have got a dice here with numbers on it. So I'm going to roll the dice every week, and it's going to give us a number, and with that number then I'm going to randomly pick out, so say if it picks number 3, I'll pick out 3 buttons, and I've got to sew those onto my project. Thought it'd be a little bit different, inspired by booktubers that I watch, and obviously, you know, I used to do my Jane Catherine on books, started off as a booktube channel. I'm thinking of, you know, I haven't been able to go on there for ages, so I'm thinking just probably amalgamating and just having something bookish once a month or something on here. But anyway, so let's get cracking. I have cut out 8 squares from my scraps. These are 3 by 5. It doesn't really matter what size you do. You could do smaller than this, you can do larger than this, but they are all slightly different, but would work together. I think then this is going to be, when they're finished, are going to go on a journal cover. So for the next 8 weeks, we're going to work on these squares. I've got some little bits of bitties and bobbies, just little scraps of things in neutral colours. Might add a little bit of that in with it as well. I've got my 2 big cones of linen thread that lasts very, very fine, but it lasts in neutral colours. And then obviously we've got other embroidery threads and things along the way. I've got my needles, and I thought that we would start with this one. This is a bit tropical looking, and let's roll the dice. Are you ready, guys? 4. So let's have a 1, 2, 3, rather hard to get out actually, believe it or not. 4. So I've got my 4 buttons. Oh, nice. Look at that. That is an Art Deco one. That's one I've been hoarding. Isn't that gorgeous? So we've got these 4 buttons, and I've got to arrange them somehow on here. And I've picked them randomly, so they won't necessarily be ones that I would pick. Okay then, I'm going to put a little bit of plain fabric in with this mix, I think. Let's have a look. Let's see what we've got here. I've already frayed that little piece, so I'm going to put that there because I think that button needs something behind it. Okay then, I'm going to do a little bit of just plain sewing. You know what I mean. Running stitch. Just to keep that going on there, and so I hope you'll, I've done a bit too much here, let's do it double. I hope that you might think along about doing this, you know, doing this with us, because I'm sure with loads of, I've got loads and loads of buttons going back from when I accidentally ended up with 1,000 buttons, because you know what I'm like, I'm not very good at estimating sizes in kilograms and goodness knows what, so I ended up with 1,000 buttons. Yeah, never use all them. So hopefully you will, this is something you fancy doing. There's all sorts of different ways. I'm thinking that I'm using this as a, going to make it into a journal cover. But for those of you that don't do paper crafting, you know, you could add this to a quilt. You can add it to, even you could add it if you're doing the Roxy's Journal of Stitchery. You may even want to do a little patch and put it on there. We don't know what's coming up, do we? It's so exciting. So I'm just going to do just some running stitch along there really, just so we've got a bit of interest on this fabric. There we go. And it's a bit like Cantha. I mean, Cantha stitch is really a running stitch in traditional Indian format, and they tend to do it in rows as a mending stitch really. And then I know in some other countries they call it borrow stitching. I was thinking of getting some, I usually sew with a little bit of wadding on the back of things, just to give it a bit of extra structure. I've been up in the loft to find these buttons. I don't know why I didn't find some wadding while I was up there. So I'm just going to do 3 layers on here. I love having little frayed edges on. This is some upholstery fabric, some bits left over from, I have got some different packs of fabrics in the shop if you're still looking. There's some large ones, and they've got enough you know, actual large piece for a journal cover if that's what you're looking for, or the smaller packs have got an assortment of these upholstery fabrics in, and really they're very inexpensive. I'm not really making anything on it, I'm just just sharing my stash really. So I am just done that little bit of stitching along there, just because I think it would frame this large button better than being right next to that. Okay, and I'm just going to the darker colour to put my button on. So I hope you're all doing well. Hope you're enjoying some crafting. I seem to have got that many projects and things on the go at the minute. Thursday we're going to work a little bit more on my Winter Wonderland journal. Now then, do we want a bit of stitching coming out of it? I think we'll just have the top row. Okay. I'm going to do this as a cross, I think. This button is just stunning. Art Deco is a period that I love anyway. I really love the everything about it. And for my 60th birthday, in 2020 I was 60, and there's this fantastic Art Deco hotel in Morecambe Bay here in the UK, and that was something I was going to do for that. And I will get there, guys. I will get there. There's a few Poirot episodes that's filmed there, and he's got very much an Art Deco apartment in London that they use. Right, I've done that, so that's nice and secure. I think it's called, this one in Morecambe Bay is called the Midland, so if you want to look it up. So that's what I wanted to do, but as I say, that was the very first lockdown, and last year we were in lockdown again for my birthday. So, third time lucky. Okay, now I'm liking that. Now then, let's just think how we are going to feature these buttons. Something like that, or do we want it then at that side? Yep, we'll do it like that, I think. So it's just a bit of fun really, this, and I'm not looking what buttons. I mean, obviously I can feel the size of it. I mean, I'm not going to, if I only get one, I'm not going to put a right little, I may do, just a small one in the corner. Right, let's put this one on. This is a beautiful one as well. I've got a thing about buttons, guys, can't you tell? I really love collecting buttons. They don't all have to be vintage. I do like some contemporary buttons as well. I've just had a fascination. I collect everybody's. I've got my auntie's old ones. My mum didn't have many left. But I think my sister's got her old sewing box. And I was going to do that one next, wasn't I? So that one there. There we go, there. Hope you can see that all right. Not got my head in the way. So yes, Thursday I'm hoping to start putting some ephemera in my Winter Wonderland journal. I've got some more to do on my design team project with my pretty houses. And my main thing that I want to get journals finished, projects finished, that that have just been hanging around half finished for a year. I'm sure loads of us have got those. Trouble is, I'm soon distracted. I soon get distracted by a new idea, and I don't always finish. I've got all these projects on the go at once. I'm like that with reading. I can have 3 different books, you know, fiction on the go at once. As long as they're different genres, I can do that and not get lost. And I don't know why. I like to have a few different things on the go. Stops you getting fed up with doing any one thing, I think. Right. Well, I'm quite surprised that they've gone on there to my liking, really. I thought, oh, no way they're going to go. So let's see. Do I need a little bit of something down this bottom edge? No, I think it wants something long. Do I want that on there? Yeah, I like that. We'll have that. I think we will couch that down with this. I've had this a long time. I can't remember where I got it. I think we need, I think I need my very large needle for that, my bookbinding beast, just so that it'll get through all the fabrics and get this, so I can thread it hopefully. It's got bobbly bits on. I might have to get my needle threader out. The eye's large enough, it's just the bobbly bits don't want to go through. Come on, that's it. Okay. Now then, let me just put a little, I'll just put a pin in it. There we go. That's it, it's going through all right. So I'm just going to do a running stitch along the bottom first, just to see the effect we get with this So I thought this was just a nice, easy, quick project, but you know, once we've made 8 of them, that will make something really nice. And it's about testing our minds as well, you know, to come up with different things on these squares that will work as a whole as well when all the 8 are put together. That's why I've chosen quite neutral vintage buttons, nothing really coloured. So if you're struggling any of these fancy threads at one time, I only used to couch them down. Until I saw Ariane Zertia, working with gimp thread, which I showed you, was it last week when I showed you what I'd got from a Christmas stash, and how, you know, using massive needles like this, you can use them actually in the stitch itself rather than just couching. And that's sort of opened more things up. Right, I'm liking that. I'm just going to do some French knots, I think, at the bottom. See how they look in this this twisty wool. Just 2. Oh yes, I like those. They're like little furry pom-poms. The oh cracky, the sea was rough last night, and we don't lay, you know, we are about 10 minutes drive from the sea, so not that close. And the dog wanted to go out about 4 o'clock, 4:30 this morning. Oh, I wondered what the sound of it, of high tide, was really loud and noisy. Frightened me to death. It was that loud. You know, sometimes depending on which way the wind is. Look at that, it's like a little fairy pom-pom. And it's forgotten that it's a full moon. A certain sort of moon, apparently, because David looked it up, called the wolf moon, and it makes exceptionally high tides this time of year. And yeah, I should imagine that half the beach is on the foreshore today. I think we'll probably go down there and later and take Nelson and have a look. High tide, I think, is again about 5 o'clock tea time. And you know, some of the cafes along there have to put these big metal shutters all up against the windows, because it can come right over the sea wall and across the road when it's, you know, these really high tides. It's a bit scratty. I bet I'm not going to be able to get it threaded again now. So hope you're just enjoying doing a little bit of sewing. Hope I'm not sending you to sleep. We did our lovely meditation last year, didn't we? A bit of meditation, and you know, it's good to have that little bit of time to yourselves. Very good for your health. Have a bit of a, you know, doing what you enjoy for an hour, and put everything in out of the way in the back filing cabinet of your mind. And not think about anything but just relaxing and stitching, or your paper crafting, whatever you enjoy. It is very therapeutic. Right, now I'm going to try, I've got this one as well, which came in that pack. It wasn't from anybody, I think it was from somewhere from the Yarn Fest. They have a big Yarn Fest in Yorkshire every year, and I think I got it from that. I think it was one of the because I think Anne Brooke, she from Handmade, she participates in Yarn Fest in Yorkshire every year. And there are lots of other fibre makers, well, people that do kits and things, like other textile artists and what have you, contribute. So I'll have a look out for when that is this year. I'm not sure when it is this year, but I shall let you know, because there's a lot of online goodies to be had for your stitching. Right, again I'm going to go along here, just try and fill this. Oh goodness me, that's tough. Yeah, this might be a little bit more difficult. Let's see, just the two. Ouch. Oh yes, that is a horrible needle to get in your finger if you do, so be careful, says she. Oh, that's nice as well, isn't it? It's a variegated, so it's got some brown in here as well. The key with the French knots is to hold your thread as near, if you're wanting a neat knot, as near to the your fabric. Bring some of the yarn up with it. So back down as near to where you came up, and really just sort of anchor it with your thumb of your other hand while you pull through, and you get your neat knot. Let me get rid of this because it's annoying me. Oh, I quite like it that way now I've seen it like that. I do like it that way better. Quite like that. It always pays you to alter the orientation of your fabric, doesn't it? And you know, you might end up liking it differently. Oh, tough, tough, tough. At least I don't need my pliers at the minute. It's a nice finish though. Twiddle your needle round and round to get it through if you're stuck. Just a top tip. It may well be that you get wastage on this type of thread because it starts losing some of its fibres the more time it goes through. David and Nelson are good. Nothing new, nothing much to report. Very frosty this morning here. In fact, it's only just disappearing off the pavement. Oh, goodness me, this is a toughie. There we go. I'm going to I think it's because it's getting too raggedy now, so I'm just going to finish that off on this side. I've got my little pot as well here for putting all my cut threads in, my little aut as they call it. Just to put your threads in because you can make things with that. Right, let me just thread that up. Right, what else have we got? Oh, I know, we'll try this one. We'll try some of this. This is like a twisted viscose, I think. I've had these a long time. I just keep collecting different fibres and wools. Don't discount looking in your wool shops, you know, your knitting shops, because some of the specialist fibres are gorgeous in your wool shop. And also it's very good way of getting large quantities of eyelash yarn. Right, let's have a look at that. I don't want all that going through at once, do I? I'll cut a bit off. Let's see how this goes through. This might be even more difficult. Can't even knot it, so what's it going to be like going through? Crikey, that's a big knot. Right, let's see. This big needle can't get through it, nothing will. Oh, trust me to decide to pick something like this. I'm not sure this is going to work. It may be that this has to be couched. Yeah, it's too... I think it's going to be too thick. Let's just have one more try, and it's going to make my fabric drop to pieces, I think. Oh, now it's through. We'll see. Don't like that great big knot. Right, okay, I'm just going to do one twist. No, I'm not happy with that. Threaded it. It's dropping to bits on me. So that one will say no, it needs to be couched, that one. Let's try. What else we got? Will that go? I'm going to try a bit of this. So sometimes it's just experimenting, you know. This is actually wool. But if you don't try, you don't know, do you? I love couching as well, so, you know, might do that next week, a bit of couching. That's one of my favourite things to do with unusual yarns. Got all wool in my mouth now. Right, cracky, let's see if we can use this big hole here. Yeah. And we'll just do one twist and see. Oh, this one's going through all right. Famous last words. Yeah. Oh, I like that. That's really nice. There's something soft about this that I like. You've got the harshness of these buttons, very angular. Oh, they're circular, but they're very industrial, probably looking. And then this, putting a bit of furry stitch. That's oh, I like this one. So I like, that's part of the fun sometimes, experimenting for me with different fibres and fabrics. I have been known to knit little pieces to go on covers or in journals. Oh, can you see it's getting a bit frayed there? We might just make another couple. Let's see if we can get a last one in without it breaking. Oh, it's holding on here. No. Let's just see if we could get that one more. I've got plenty, I don't know why I'm messing with it. I could cut another piece, couldn't I? So right, fingers crossed. We'll go back through the same hole. There. So sometimes if we're right at the end, I will unthread it to get a final knot and then just pull it through. That's it. Just keep pulling that through. There we go. Just thread that along the back. Okay. Isn't that gorgeous? I love that. Look at that. That is gorgeous. I'm really thrilled. So this, in fact, I think, is it this wool? It is, look. Just a ball of wool. So, you know, try it. Obviously that didn't like going through all the layers. I don't know why not, because it's like a viscose thread. Probably it's because it was going through too many. Let's just try and see if it likes just going through a thin layer. We'll just see if it does. We'll just put a couple of stitches along there and see if it, or a couple of French knots, and see if it likes it. If it likes it. Do you like it, wool? Oh, right. Okay. Right, let's see if it yeah. So this doesn't like going through the two thick layers, because if you just, I mean, this is quite thick, the upholstery fabric. You need to do a few twiddles to get it through. I'm just going to do 3 stitches here. Nearly stitched my finger then. There we go. So these massive needles, bookbinding needles, you know, you can use them. I'm going to go all the way around actually now. Just go around this square just to highlight that square. So really I encourage you to have a play around with different threads and fibres. You know, sometimes very inexpensive balls of wool that are really sold traditionally for knitting, you can sew with good effect. So I'm just going to go to the end of this, and then I think our piece is about done. Looks nice, doesn't it? I'm glad I've given it another go. So again, you've got to be mindful of how many levels of stitching. That's it. Let me tie that off, and I think that's plenty. we want the buttons to stand out. We don't want it to be over cluttered. Oh. There we go, that'll do us. Right then, I'll sort that back out in a little while. There we go. So that is our week 1 piece of our dice button game. I like that. I'm really liking that. I love that fuzzy down there. And again, I know we're using buttons and we're not using ideas from the pick jar, but it makes you think outside the box. I would never have put those together. And sometimes we try to be too matchy-matchy with things and don't experiment enough. So that's my lesson for the day for myself, is experiment with different ideas. They either work or they don't, but if they do, they can give you some amazing results in your work. So thank you for joining me. I hope you're excited as I am with this this new little twist on Tuesday Sewing, and I'll see you next video. Bye for now.